Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Visit Central Florida and the Polk County Board of County Commissioners, welcome to the spiritual heart of water skiing, Polk County. I'm Jack Cormier, part of the communications team for Visit Central Florida. As part of my duties, I've been heavily involved with the creation of the Hit It podcast for USA Water Ski, along with Tyler Boyd and Scott Atkinson. Tyler, who hosts the program, always seems to circle back to one central theme: family. There is a family you were born into and the family we choose. We have work families, church families, and for everyone here in this room, a water ski family. According to Tyler, it is the draw of the water ski family that keeps so many involved in the sport long after that final competition. Tonight, we usher the best of that family into water ski immortality. We are honored you chose to share this special evening with us here tonight in Polk County. The water ski shows at Lake Eloise might be a little different today, but the spirit of Cypress Gardens lives on in Legoland, Florida's newest adventure, Pirate River Quest. Heck, there's even a few old ghouls from Cypress Gardens here in the room with us tonight. Pretty sure I saw Dave Dersheimer earlier. Once again, we hope you enjoy your stay here in Polk County and come back to visit our shops and farmers markets, our unique culinary destinations, our water ski schools and attractions, and learn for yourself why we're Florida's sweetest spot. Now, enjoy this short film.
Steamers unloads a 219-footer and feels he could have and should have capitalized.
That was a great preview, and thank you, Jack. Welcome. This is big. It's quite a room we have here tonight. On behalf of the USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation, thank you for being here tonight. This is the 2023 Hall of Fame Banquet and Induction, the biggest off-the-water event in our sport. We have a great program for you tonight, but I'd like to recognize a few of our supporters and mention the foundation. First, Polk County Sports Marketing, Mark Jackson, and their crew helped us produce this event. Thank you very much. They also provide the Visitor Center to display our Hall of Fame and last night's social event that we all enjoyed. Betsy Gilman. Where are you, Betsy? Betsy? She's our volunteer member of the foundation that made all this happen and brought us all together tonight. She planned and produced the event. She made the videos with help from Lynn Novikowski, and she's done everything. We're now being webcast by the Water Ski Broadcast Company, who brings competitive water skiing to the world of spectators through their entertaining webcasts. Big hand for them. I really think very highly of them. Thanks and recognition to our corporate sponsors, Conley Water Sports, HO Sports, Radar Skis, Mastercraft Boats, Miami Nautique, American Barefoot Club, Barefoot International, ABC Southern Region, Phoenix Logistics, Houston Cadillac, Hobe Lake Ski Club, Just Add Water Media, and the International Water Ski and Wakeboard Federation. And we proudly support Elite Cable Park, part of Correctcraft, that continues to grow and prosper at the Foundation's property at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex. Speaking of Lake Myrtle, today, the skiing event marked the opening of the City of Auburndale's new water ski training facility at Lake Myrtle. Now there will be a place for all skiing at the park, including 3 event skiing, wakeboarding, and barefooting, as well as the cable park. We are the Foundation. We are an organization of volunteers. We celebrate water skiing with this, the Hall of Fame, and we support the sport's future with our scholarship program. I believe the Foundation creates lasting value for the sport. I'm proud of what our volunteers accomplish. Our museum committee takes care of our historical material. Last night we saw the Hall of Fame and Museum at the Central Florida Welcome Center, which is viewed by more than 50,000 people each year. Our scholarship committee, busy reviewing applications and awarding and administering scholarships. We now have 25 scholarships worth more than $50,000 each year. The Foundation Scholarship Program is a great opportunity for you, the water skiing community, to make a difference. We plan to grow and expand the program, and we need your help. Our Hall of Fame Selection Committee does a great job selecting inductees for tonight's event, the Hall of Fame. We have an exciting program, so now I'll turn it over to our host for the evening, Hank Longo.
Well, good evening, everybody. In honor of Dick Pope Sr., you got to bring a little bling to the party, you know what I mean? Make it a little exciting. Well, what a wonderful crowd we have here tonight. The room is packed, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. It's going to be a fabulous evening tonight with all our awards presentations. So welcome to the 2023 USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Hall of Fame induction. And as Ed mentioned, we're going YouTube tonight, so hello to everybody watching us in the country and around the world. It's going to be a great evening. Glad that you're here to join us, so let's give us all a big round of applause as we get this party going. Now, we have a lot of Hall of Fame inductees with us tonight, so I'd like to introduce them. If you are a Lifetime Award Achievement inductee, would you please stand up? If we got some Lifetime Award inductees with us tonight. How about awarded distinction inductees? I know we have a few of you in here tonight. If you could please stand up. And then all our Hall of Famers that are joining us, if you could please stand up. All right, you gotta love it. Let's give it up. Come on, come on. Well, we have a lot of legends and superstars here, so I hope this evening you get a chance to visit with one of your heroes or more of your heroes, and that's what makes it such a fun event, because these people are as down to earth and as humble as you can imagine, and they love to meet everybody. Well, in 2022, we celebrated the 100th year of water skiing. Here in Polk County, it was an incredible year-long celebration that started with our Hall of Fame last March. But it was also a significant event in Lake City, Minnesota, the birthplace of water skiing. On July 2nd, 1922, Ralph Samuelson water skied on his homemade skis behind a clam boat on nearby Lake Pippin. 100 years later, the foundation was there in Lake City. We helped create a mini water ski history museum, held a Learn to Water Ski Clinic on Lake Pippin, helped support a statue of Ralph Samuelson, and our own Hall of Famer Glenn Sperry was there to demonstrate skiing on his stilt skis during the water ski days. We hope to keep this partnership with the birthplace of water skiing going for the next 100 years, and I hope that I can be there to celebrate that with them. Hank, you're already 100 years old. Hey, knock it off. Joining us tonight are some friends of ours from Lake City, and we want you to watch this video.
I feel that sunshine on me. Sat out all day just watching beautiful strangers pass me by.
Well, thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful event, and more importantly, what beautiful people. And I think about it, I'm Mark Nichols, the mayor of Lake City, Minnesota, the birthplace of water skiing. 100 years ago, 1922, this all happened. And we're excited to be here and honored to be invited. So to start this off, so as a mayor, all of my other council members are substantially younger than me. And they all use their phones when they're giving little presentations, so I thought I'd try it. So bear with me, Face ID, okay. Thanks, Hank, for these nice comments about our celebration this past summer. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Betsy, and thank you, Ed, and the staff for all their help. And of course, our two, my compatriots that are joining me tonight, Ed Hoffman and Marco Molinari, who drove a bunch of artifacts of water skiing all the way to Minnesota to help build our museum in Lake City. Thank you. Well, I grew up in Lake City, and as a boy, I was fortunate enough to meet Mr. Samuelson, 13 years old, and I could tell at this meeting, I was a dock boy, the stature of this man, and he took the time to introduce himself to me and asked me if I water skied. And I said, I do. Behind a 16-foot Lund with a 60-horse Evinrude, if you can imagine that. Barely got us up. But we're here tonight to really communicate a little bit about Lake City quickly. Lake City is 70 miles south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's on the Mississippi River, but it's a wide spot of the Mississippi River called Lake Pepin. It's about 26 miles long, 3 miles wide, and there are a number of points that jet out into the lake or the Mississippi, so we always find calm water. And that is a wonderful thing. It seems like you have smaller lakes in this area, so you don't have to worry about those things, but we do. So it's wonderful. Each summer, we mentioned Water Ski Day week. Each summer, the third week in June, we have our largest festival of the year. We have 5,600 people in our town, and we bring in thousands. And the highlight of the event is the water ski show. And last year was so exciting. Betsy came in and actually gave lessons to our kids that have never water skied. It was a wonderful and a highlight of our year. Well, first of all, I want to invite every one of you to Lake City, Minnesota, and if you come up, get a hold of me. I'll make sure you get some VIP tickets. That's to our beer tent. And but the catch is that you have to do a little bit a part of the water ski show. I have to imagine that each and every one of you here tonight are water skiers or wakeboarders or board sport people. So it's just wonderful to be here. We're doing something pretty special in Lake City, and our next speaker who is going to talk, Marcos, about what we have planned for an experiential water ski facility in Lake City. So experiential meaning that folks nowadays want to come into an interpretive center, but they want to do something. And so we'll see what you have to say about that. So welcome, Marcos.
Thanks, Mayor Nichols. Thanks, Mark. Without a past, it's hard to have a future. And I want to start out just by thanking Ed and the foundation, not only for their support with Betsy and with Hank, who helped me get things out of a refrigerated warehouse, and then I drove it up to Lake City, but also with the financial contributions that were made to the statue that you saw at the end of this video, which was placed on the shores of Lake Pepin on July 2nd of last year. And we're very thankful for that, and we're very thankful that both Glenn and Betsy will come back again this year. And I'm also very appreciative to Paul Chapin and to others who joined us for this celebration in Lake City. Now, as we move forward, there's a couple of things that we want to build on from last year. Number one is, we know that this sport requires scholarships, requires money. So we want to announce here this evening that it's our intention to introduce a new scholarship that you can add to your scholarships starting next year. And we'll work with Ed and the foundation, to put together the details of that scholarship. So we will be contributing from Lake City with such a scholarship for, a young water skier, water sports individual for the future. The other thing is, we see that, the birthplace was in Lake City of water skiing. So we're also seeing how can we sort of brand ourselves and differentiate ourselves going forward. So as Mayor Nichols mentioned, we are going to start, we have a small group right now that's visioning, how an interpretive, historical, cultural museum with the hub being the Hall of Fame up north can be created in the future. So we're going to start that work in the near term, and we hope that when we come back here, next year we can tell you more about that and how that is going. Obviously, there's going to be substantial financial needs as we develop that, and we hope that all of you, or many of you who are in love with this sport and continue to contribute to this sport, can be part of developing that together with us as well. And in closing, let me again thank you all for inviting us here. Second time, I was here last year, and for your support of Lake City with everything that we were able to bring last year and that we're able to do again with Betsy and Glenn Sperry again this year. Thank you, and congratulations to all the award winners this evening and inductees into the Hall of Fame. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mark and Marco. A couple years ago, I traveled down to Lake City and got to see Lake Pepin for the first time. And if you ever get the chance to do it, you have to, because it's overwhelming to be there and say, this is where it all started. And when you think of all the people in the world that are water skiing, and to go to the place where it all began is pretty amazing. The foundation is always focused on celebrating our past in Lake City and around the country, and of course with the Hall of Fame. But we are also focused on our young water ski student athletes and helping them succeed on the water and in life. The USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation has added more scholarship for Toad Water Sports student athletes for the 2023 and 2024 school year. We now administer dozens of college scholarships worth more than $50,000. We have listed our 2022 scholarship winners in tonight's program, and some of our recipients are in attendance tonight. So if you're a scholarship recipient and you're with us tonight, would you please stand up? And let us recognize you. There you go. There you go. I've got to say this about our student athletes. When you watch these kids, and they're the best skiers in the world performing out there, if they were doing it in football or basketball or a sport like that, they graduate or they leave school early because they're going to make millions of dollars. But all our student athletes who love to ski, the number one priority to them is their education. And when they get out of school, they have careers. And to witness them, come out of college and pursue their careers, we really have to respect and admire them for doing that. And we thought you would also like to meet the whole 2022 scholarship crew. So please watch this video.
First of all, congratulations to all of the award recipients, scholarship winners, and tonight's Hall of Fame inductees. Water skiing over the past decade has taught me so much: love, discipline, teamwork, frustration. It's given me coaching and leadership opportunities, and I have grown tremendously as a barefooter, as a show skier, and as a collegiate 3-event skier. I want to take a quick minute to thank all the people who have helped shape me into the skier I am today. I especially thank Shauna Passonen and Ashley Stubbings-Grown for writing me letters of recommendation for the scholarship. I'm honored for the opportunity to come up here tonight and speak about water skiing, along with emphasizing the importance of education. I'm a proud UW, University of Wisconsin, Madison senior, graduating this spring. Yeah, on Wisconsin. Graduating this spring with a bachelor's degree in biology. And my scholarship money went to paying for my last 2 semesters of college. College has not only helped me academically, but it's brought me close to lifelong friends, and it's taught me how to be independent. And I especially thank Jim Grew and the late Barbara Boulding for your generosity, for supporting my education, and for giving skiers the opportunity to represent our amazing sport and grow it. I encourage any fellow skier to apply to the USA Water Ski and Wake Sport Foundation scholarships. Their support in education and water skiing is truly amazing. Water skiing will always be a major part of my life, and I'm excited to see how it will shape my future. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Lexi. Let's give all our student athletes another big round of applause. We got to be really proud of these young adults really making a mark in the world. Okay, now it's time to get going with our awards presentation. For the second year in a row, some of the American inductees to the International Water Ski and Wakeboard Federation Hall of Fame are being celebrated in their home country. The IWWF International Hall of Fame recognizes, appreciates, and understands the incredible contribution each recipient has made to their discipline, their community, their clubs, federations, confederations, the world, and the IWWF. The IWWF Hall of Fame can be seen in its entirety in our USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Hall of Fame in Davenport at the Visit Central Florida Visitor Center, and it's a beautiful museum. You have to go see it. Now, Jeffrey Armstrong was going to present these awards, but unfortunately she couldn't be with us tonight. So we have Betsy Gilman going to be presenting the awards. Betsy, who is a former president of the American Barefoot Club, current president of the Pan Am and Barefoot Council, and member of the World Barefoot Council. We want to thank the IWWF for their partnership in celebrating the history of water sports around the world. Our first inductee into IWWF Hall of Fame. Ann O'Brien Satterfield was a member of the Lakeland Water Ski Club and was the first women's adaptive water ski athlete to complete a jump on the sit ski. She is a 5-time winner of the women's national overall title, 2-time world overall champion, and was named the United States Olympic Committee Female Athlete of the Year. In 1993, Ann relocated from Washington State to Winter Haven, Florida, the water ski capital of the world, where she began instructing adaptive water skiing. Ann was committed to her students and passionate about sports for individuals living with disabilities. She often opened up her home so people could come train with her on Lake Jessie throughout the year. She also traveled across the country to teach others how to hold safe and effective adaptive water ski clinics. Although Ann sadly passed away in 2015, her legacy lives on in the nonprofit Ann's Angels, which still holds dozens of adaptive water ski clinics every year. Please watch the video.
I'm a 3-event skier. I actually am the first woman ever to complete a jump on a sit ski. After winning 5 national and 2 world titles, I thought, I have set the pace. I've showed these girls they can do it, and my life needs to go on and focus on teaching, building equipment, because I wanted the sport to grow. I had polio when I was 2 years old, been raised in a chair, and while I was working as a travel agent for people with disabilities, arranging hotels and cars with hand controls. This is a new life for anybody in a chair. I sold my home, packed my bags, quit my job, moved to Florida, and I have just put my heart, soul, and mind into the sport because I know it does for other people half of what it did for me. It'll change their lives.
Sorry, I'm Ann's daughter, and that woman meant the world to me. Sorry. This is my brother Troy, and my aunt Sue. To say that she packed up everything and moved to Florida for this sport is an understatement. She was dedicated, committed, a fierce competitor. Prior to being the first woman to do the jump, this is a woman that took on the challenge to water ski around Lake Washington, which is roughly 18 miles. This is unheard of. And I can still remember she kept going to make sure every media, every channel, every TV channel was on the sidelines to spread awareness of adaptive water sports. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of who she was. She did pass away on Christmas Eve in 2015. She's an incredible mother prior to being a great water skier.
As an older sister, I remember my sister, she was much more than just a water skier. She was just like this the first 40-some years before she discovered water skiing. She never water skied before that. But she did the roller coaster when she was a teenager, which was the largest roller coaster in the United States. And she couldn't even put her feet down to hold herself in. She was on motorcycles. She was horseback riding. She was swimming and had to prove to every lifeguard in a swimming pool that she could swim because she was massively strong in her upper body. But my sister, when she discovered water skiing, she said it was the best thing next to walking. And although she never walked, she never wanted any child or adult in a wheelchair to go through what she went through as a young adult or as a child, never being able to do anything. We would run for her as she would bat a ball clear out into center field with one arm, and then we would run the bases for her. But she wanted to open up the world to these children or adults that had had something happen to them, and maybe they had lost eyes or an arm or couldn't walk anymore. But she didn't want them to stay in that wheelchair. She wanted them out and experiencing life, and that was what my sister did, and that was her focus in her life till 3 months before she passed away. She held her last clinic with the veterans. And before she ever had a client come to those clinics, she would figure out a way to get them on the water and water skiing. And we would truly miss her, but she was an icon and she was gutsy. And thank you to IWF for everything that they have done to keep my sister's legacy alive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, give it up. Definitely amazing person, and delighted to be able to be a friend and just watch what an inspiration Ann was. Excuse me. Our second IWWF Water Ski Hall of Fame inductee, Lori Powdrell. Lori Powdrell is a legend in barefoot water skiing and was inducted into the USA Water Ski Hall of Fame in 1999. Tonight, Lori is here to be honored for her contributions on the world stage. Lori is perhaps the most versatile female water skier of all time, competing and holding national titles in both the three-event and barefoot divisions since elementary school years. Lori's significant barefoot skiing and world titles accomplishments span 8 years and 4 world championships, culminating in her 1988 Women's World Overall title. In many of those years, she also competed at the national level in traditional three-event skiing. Her perseverance through losses and a significant health setback to finally win the Women's World Overall title in 1988 is a testament to Lori's hard work, dedication, and athletic skill. It's because of these many accomplishments and more that Lori Powdrell is being inducted into the IWWF Hall of Fame. Please watch the video.
course, I haven't done this in a while. Well, I would like to thank the USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation. I would like to thank the International Water Ski and Wakeboard Federation Selection Committee. I would like to thank everyone who had a part in making this happen. Thank you. You know, I realized, my husband reminded me that I started barefooting and I started water skiing here in Lakeland. This is where I grew up. So it's kind of coming full circle for this to be happening here in my hometown as a child. And I was reflecting back coming into this, and I realized that I learned many great life lessons, and they have served me well to this very day. I learned the value of a healthy diet and a strong body. I learned how to handle setbacks and how to dig deep and keep going. Thank you, Jennifer, the goat, for giving me that lesson in 1988. Without that lesson, I might not have pulled off the 88 World, so thank you. I learned how to set goals and work hard to achieve them. I learned that what may seem impossible is actually possible. I learned the value of setting an intention and then giving it my total attention to see it through to completion. This serves me well every day. And through my ski school, I learned how rewarding it is to help someone else. And life gave me the opportunity to put all that I had learned as a child to the test starting around 10 years ago, when I entered what you would call a dark night of the soul. Everything that I thought I knew and believed was ripped apart. I felt lost. I felt broken. I felt hopeless. And when I could take it no longer and had truly hit rock bottom, I began to dig deep and start drawing on these early lessons of resilience, tenacity, and perseverance. It started with lesson number 1, a healthy diet and a strong body. I had to do this from a place of physical and mental strength. Get back to wholeness seemed impossible. But from my early life lessons, I knew the impossible is possible. The invaluable lesson of intention and attention became my lifeline. I set the intention, I will get better, and I gave it my full and total attention to see it through to completion. I can handle setbacks and keep going. I know how to dig deep. And as I got better and better, I relearned that I can believe in myself. I've got this. And eventually, I experienced how much it fed my soul to give back and to serve others. This is what I devote my time to now, helping others to heal, to find their way back to themselves when they feel lost, forsaken. I help them to find wholeness and peace as I have found, and I am eternally grateful. So with that being said, I'm so appreciative for the positive impact that being an athlete has had on my life. It helped make me who I am today. And for those of you who have been involved in any way in my journey, I want to express my deepest and my sincerest gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Well, that got me a little tear-jerky. I say we got to give her another big round of applause. Congratulations, Lori. Wow. Oh, boy. Well, we all met together here last March for our Hall of Fame ceremony, and since then, sadly, many members of our tribe have passed away. So let's take a couple of minutes now to remember some lives well lived on the water and watch this video. Oh boy, two tear jerkers in a row, and those folks surely will be missed. Well, now it's time to get into our USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation awards. We're going to start off with the Award of Distinction. The USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation Award of Distinction was created to recognize the people who have made extraordinary contributions to our sport. They may include competitors, innovators, industry leaders, officials, and all others responsible for landmark achievements in the development of towed water sports. Our first inductee, a man who helped build barefoot water skiing in the South and around the world, Chuck Allegier. Chuck was the chairman of the AWSA Towboat Committee and was always working on ways to help improve boats for skiers from all disciplines. Chuck also was a regional director, vice president of the American Barefoot Club, and ABC representative for the AWSA Board of Directors. He became a senior driver, senior judge for the American Barefoot Club, and was the chief judge for many barefoot nationals. After a long day of work, he would often come home to spend several hours in the boat training his son Skip and other barefooters. Chuck was part of 5 U.S. barefoot teams as a coach or manager, and all of those teams won world championships. He helped bring the flight craft to the U.S. and was a big part of Mastercraft's barefoot boat program. Chuck is a world-class leader who loves barefooting in the boats, and we are happy to honor him tonight with the Award of Distinction. Please watch the video.
The secret to good barefootness?
Well, I think it takes a lot mentally to keep control of barefooting. But big feet also help to give you more surface on the water.
Not. A Mastercraft Barefoot 200 is the secret to it all.
Thank you. Wow. What a group. I had so many people to thank, but I just don't have enough time. So I'll start out mainly with my family. My wife, Kathy, who spent these many, many years traveling to and from tournaments with me. She was a scorer, spent many, many hours at the table. There's my daughter, Cheryl. She was also in the car, pulling boats. As she got older, she started getting bored. So at tournaments, I had her start as a dock starter. Then, of course, there's Chip. Without him, none of us would have been involved. So, but my biggest thank, and the biggest reason I'm standing here, goes to Don Mixon. If it wasn't for him, one summer afternoon, after we finished skiing, he pulled up on the bank after us and looked at Chip, little guy, and said, "Does that young man want to learn to barefoot?" And I said, "I don't think he could take the speed." Don looked at me and said, I'm not going to pull him as fast as you've been pulling him slalom skiing. So Chip got in the boat, and we went out and started barefooting. So every chance we got, we went out with Don, and then we practiced on our own. Then one fall afternoon, we get a call from Don. He had the World Council, Barefoot World Council meeting at his house. They were going to take a break and go out and ski. He asked us if we wanted to go. So, of course, never turned down a chance to go skiing. We go over there, they all go out and ski, and they get in the boat, and they look at Chip and said, "Come on, Chip, show us their stuff." And he jumps over the side and goes up and down the lake, gets in the boat, and they're all patting him on the back, telling him what a great job he did. They looked at me and said, "Do you barefoot?" And before I could say no, you hear this little voice go, "Ha! He's too old." That's the day I learned to barefoot. After that, we practiced a lot. We practiced a lot, learned some tricks, slalom, and we went to our first tournament in Fort Lauderdale at Mills Pond. I'm standing on the bank watching all this, and somebody says to me, "You do know the best seat is in the boat." So I started my judges and drivers ratings. After that, I sat on the rules committee. Then I was the chairman of the towboat committee. I was the Southern Regional Barefoot Director. I was the American Barefoot Club vice president. I was the ABC representative to the AWSA board of directors. I sat on the World Barefoot Council, sat on the Pan Am Council, and like Hank said, I had a coach and manager of 5 gold medal teams. What fun. Thank you.
I say we give it up for Chuck one more time. That was great. Well. Are we having fun yet? Come on, let's give it up for this beautiful evening, and just a delight to be here. Our next awarded distinction inductee, Betty Bonifay. And we got some Betty Bonifay fans in the house tonight. Well, last night at our social, we had a ton of gals there all dressed up in sparkly little clothes like I'm wearing tonight, and in honor of Betty. And she has really changed a lot of lives over her career. To this day, if you're in the boat with swivel skiers, you undoubtedly will hear someone lead off a sentence with, "Well, Betty Bonifay says you should." And if you're a swivel skier, you listen. The Bonifay Ski School was the first school for students to learn all different acts of show skiing, but her main focus was always on swivel skiing. Hundreds of women credit her with making them the best swivel skiers they could be by incorporating ballet and the art of performing on the water. Betty has traveled all over the United States sharing her passion for water skiing and swivel skiing. Betty always looked for ways to improve the sport and the equipment. She put foam in the middle of a wooden ski to make it ride flatter on the water. Betsy also had neoprene toe straps, designed for her ropes, and developed the braid at the end of the handle for use for certain tricks. Betty is a true pioneer and innovator of swivel skiing, and it's our pleasure to honor her with the Award of Distinction. Congratulations, Betty. Please watch the video.
When I was 16, I was at Cypress Gardens, and I had 2 broken legs, and so when I got there with the family, I said, I'm just going to sit here for all 4 shows because I'm tired of moving with these feet. And I sat there, and when my mother came back after the 4 o'clock show, I said, this is what I'm going to do when I grow up. By the time I got my job at the Gardens in 1977, Linda Novakowski put in what they called a super show. They introduced 360 swivel. The jump act was bigger and better and farther. The pyramid went from 2 tiers and then 3 tiers, and now we're going to build a 4-tier. The other one was Corquette, and I just loved her. She was a character that is my best friend to this day. This one. And then all my different group shots, sometimes in the boat. Oh my gosh, look at that. I shot thousands of people. I'm counting them right now. I like teaching. It makes me feel good to see the development of somebody. You find something you like, and then you set your goals, and you plan for it. And when you plan for it, that means you have to complete it. I'm really excited that it's happening, and it's going to be a fun and good time, and it makes me feel completed because it's something I dream for, and everybody needs a goal, and you should reach your goals if you work hard enough. And now you won't forget my name, so you can now go home and Google me. See you later. Oops, my notes are backwards already. Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed my whole life in water skiing. And I realize it's because I don't have to do it alone. There's always somebody around that wants to go water skiing. And it's a clean sport. But oh, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Hey, you're taking after your son now, watch it.
Yeah, that's hard to live up to. Maybe I should find note 1. But time out. Oh, well. Oh, there it is. No, it's an honor to be here, and it is definitely a dream that comes true. I never really set out to I didn't even know what the Hall of Fame was until Carol Lowe called one day and asked me to video this, and I said, when? And she said, spring, and I went, okay. And all these people were there, and I had my 2 cameras going, and all of a sudden I go, God, these guys are good looking out there. I said, and so I took my 3rd camera and I zoomed in on all of them one time real quick. And that's what made my love for the sport was, in the beginning. But really what it gave me is a communication with my children, because if you can talk about something that you love, you can talk about just about anything when times get rough. And trust me, because I don't sit still, my life goes like this a lot of times in life. But I've always stayed true to who I was, and they don't call me Betty Blunt for nothing. So as I started skiing and began being at Cypress Gardens, and time out. Sorry about that. It would help if I could see. Anyway, so everybody takes a different path through life, and my mother was my life savior. She always kept me busy so that when it was time to study, I could. And because she came to the school, and she always gave me something new and different to do. And I tried a lot of sports, and I was decent at all of them, but I never found that niche. And everybody takes after whatever your family seems to do, like my children seem to water ski. I wonder how that happened. But my family played golf. And if you think about golf, it's really slow. And most of all, you have to be quiet. And I heard shh, shh, shh a lot when I played golf. I don't fish for the same reason. But so when I found the urge to teach and I could stand up, I had to be better every time. Teaching made me better, because you can't tell somebody what to do if it's not right. Even if they think you know what it is, you best be right, because it will come back and haunt you. And so the more I taught, the better I got. The better I got, the more I taught. So it was a mad stream. And as much as I love Cypress Gardens, because the one thing about Cypress Gardens is that you have to know all the avenues of skiing. You have to be able to swivel, you do doubles, and I was considered a big girl at Cypress, so it took a little while till Jimmy Casada came and could lift me, and if he could, then anybody could. That's how we got started. But the gardens and show skiing, you don't just do one thing, and I'm not very good at doing one thing at a time. I like to experience it all, and when I found my niche in show skiing, my love of skiing really came. And I don't know what page I'm on anymore, but here we go. And so I like to thank Lynn Novakowski. Even though I seem to rub him the wrong way many times throughout my life, he is the reason I fell in love with skiing. He hired me. You know, but he did. He said, "But I can't hire you. I can't have you on your staff for 6 months." And I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I went to the Bahamas because I was building a car wash here in Winter Haven, and I swiveled 24/7. Well, the night before I left for the Bahamas, Sally Winter said, "You know, the first ski I ever saw went all the way around." And I went, "What? That sounds fun. I'm bored." You know, so when I was in the Bahamas, all I did was swivel because I had nothing else I had to do. And when I came back and I was waiting for that job, I was gung-ho, and everybody needs to be able to do this because this is fun. Because when I started, you only went front, back, front, back, front, back. You know, and I like that. So at Disney World, which is where I was the first female lifeguard, I got to do a ski show, and because I was getting married, and and I got so nervous, I was told to do one turn and get in. Well, I did 4 turns before I knew it, and I thought, I better land. I think I need to go land. And so from that point on, my love for performing was big. But we moved to Pensacola where I started teaching, and all of a sudden, I really realized why I went to college 3.5 years is because I was in phys ed to be a teacher. But I didn't quite make it there because I ended up in the skiing part of intercollegiate, and I really liked that a whole lot, and the rest is now history. My father said that one day the Orlando's going to change, and Disney came. So I was one of the first female lifeguards in the recreation program, and they had these big boats that just sat there on the dock, and I pushed out sailboats, but I said, let's go out and at least give them a tour in these big boats. And so then they did some skiing, and we sort of did that. So between, things just happen. And anytime they happened, I tried to do my best and give back to all the people that gave to me. And with that, my love for skiing, this is my 50 year of skiing, half of the 100 years of water skiing. I've worn my wristband for a year, and when I lose it, it really bothers me because I don't have something to do with my hands. Everybody takes a different path in life, and if you just live it to your best, do your best, because believe me, I do my best and I get in enough trouble just doing my best. Just think if I wanted to be bad, what would happen to me. The other thing that makes me different than the average water skier is that because I was a water skier, my children do it. Well, my father was in the Air Force, and I had moved 10 places by the time I was graduated from high school. So I never meet a stranger because you never know who that stranger might be later in your life. And because we move so much, you do finally see some people that you knew before. So the rest of it is history, and I am thankful that I had the opportunity at Cypress Gardens to give out back to the world what I love so much. And I like to perform. Dress is popping. This way? Come on, Mama. Come on. Okay. Aren't you coming with me? This way. Somebody make up their mind.
We got to give it up one more time for Betty Bonifay. Our next award of distinction inductee is Roger Dillon. Roger is globally recognized water ski judge and scorer, but he is renowned for his work within the technical control homologation community. He worked closely with pioneers such as Ed Brazil and Dave Clark in the early days of creating a level playing field in water ski competition and the records certification. Roger spent 3 decades as a technical controller and was the first to create his own traveling tech control minivan, which was a staple at tournaments in the Southeast. Roger is an innovator who had the ability to look at a body of water and determine the best layout to install competition courses in the most efficient manner. Roger was instrumental in trying to make a tournament run better and is credited with the development of pre-gates in slalom, which was intended to aid drivers in their approach to the slalom course. We are proud to honor Roger Dilling with the Award of Distinction. Please watch this video.
I'm both honored and humbled by this recognition, and there are many, many people that I need to thank for that got me there. In memory of my best good friend Ed Brazil, and at least 20 other people that played a big role in me being here, I'd like to start out with a moment of silence for those people that are no longer with us. So please, let's take a moment of silence. May the perpetual light shine upon them as they rest in peace. Amen. Murphy has many laws for people, and he has some special laws for tech controllers. One of them that comes to mind for me immediately is when you go to survey a course, at least one of the survey points has to be either in the middle of a fire ant bed or a poison ivy field. And if you go to Mike Shaw's Lake in Rome, Georgia, there's always going to be a goose nest with about 8 or 10 goslings there that they'll start protecting. And if you've ever been around geese with goslings, you know what we have to put up with. And another one of the rules that Murphy has for us is that when something is going to go wrong, it always goes wrong at the worst possible time, and it's always going to be worse than it could ever be. And I've experienced many of those things when we've been in tech controlling. One that comes to mind was at the World Championships in Milan, Italy. We were running well behind because the water was rough because they had straight banks there, and they were having re-rides on top of re-rides. And we were finished either the second or the third stage, and they were about to change out the boats and everything. And I said, for your entertainment, we're going to have Banana George, may rest in peace, put on a display. And I said, oh, that ought to help us catch up, because George always does a good show. And I expected to hear the big loud boat coming down the lake with George in it, and I didn't hear it, and I didn't hear it, and I looked back, and I saw this boat coming with his nose real high, and George covered riding down on one of these air chairs going up and down. And the course at Milan, Italy was a cross-line course with the cables going across the lake. And I got on the radio and called everybody I could, and the boat either didn't have a radio on a totally different channel, and all of a sudden look back and here George goes face first into the water as his air chair hit the first cable going across the lake, and he's face first in the water. The boat keeps going on down there. The pickup boats are going out off. They'd gone in to change crews, and George is there flopping in the water. Nobody's paying any attention to him. So we had quite a mess going there, but they finally got George out of the water, and that was the last time I ever let him do an air chair during the tournament. And I could go on and tell you tech control stories from of where things didn't go the way they were supposed to, or we'd have to serve breakfast before I get it finished. But with that, I want to thank the committee and the foundation for this award, because it means an awful lot to me. But with that, I think I'll let everybody catch up here, and we'll quit for the night.
Let's give it up one more time, please, for Roger Dilling. I was kind of thinking George coming through the course on that air chair, cutting all the cables with the fin. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, boy. All righty, folks, our next award of distinction goes to Russell Gay. Russell Gay has dedicated much of his life to water skiing, both as a competitor and as a part of the water ski equipment industry. A trick specialist, Russell has scored a personal best of 12,070 points. I mean, like, that's the best in the world, ladies and gentlemen. He has been on the podium at national championships, world championships, and holds 2 national trick records. He's an incredible tricker. For more than 25 years, Russell Gay's company, Masterline, has produced quality water ski ropes and handles. The Masterline family also includes Quantum skis and Eagle wetsuits. He has also passed on his competitive fire and ability to the next generation of water skiers, which happens to be in his family. All his kids are national championships. His daughter is a multiple world champion, masters champion, and all other kinds of heroic championships. But some things you didn't probably know about Russell was that when he was in high school, he was a national triathlete champion. And the only reason he quit doing that is he couldn't figure out how to beat Lance Armstrong. Imagine that. But anyhow, on top of his trick skiing, he was a wakeboarding world champion, a U.S. Open wakeboard champion, a Cypress Gardens Tour Stop wakeboard champion, and skied in 3 Masters championships, trick skiing and wakeboarding. For all these reasons and more, we are honoring Russell Gay with the Foundation's Award of Distinction. Please watch the video.
Look at that edge, into the huge edge.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the committee, and I want to congratulate all the other honorees. This is going to be a lot harder to get through than I thought it would be. You know, a lot of things come back, and there's a lot of people here that have meant a lot to me and done a lot for me over the years and my family, and supported our company as well. But I want to give special thanks, congrats to Keith and Jimmy. Keith, we've had the pleasure of being able to work with him as a sponsored skier, and he's an extremely talented footer, but also a super nice guy. Jimmy, on the other hand, he had to go and beat my national record by 20 points. But just kidding, but he's an amazing competitor. He still has one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen. At the Swiss Worlds, he won tricks, won overall, but also had the longest jump of the tournament. So it's a pretty underrated performance that I think is one of the greatest of all times. And Jimmy was a great guy that Ryan and Anna really enjoyed skiing with, and they took a lot of lessons from Jimmy growing up, and he's really been a big supporter of our kids. So yeah, I've had a unique experience in the sport. I've been at a high level with skiing and 3-event skiing, but also, and a lot of people probably forgot, I was a wakeboarder. That was a big part of my career in the beginning, and at one point right after college, and I really got involved. I really loved it, and so that was a big part of it. And also through owning Masterline, I've been touched by all the events. I've worked with a lot of barefooters. Our primary focus has been 3-event skiing, but with Eagle and Masterline, we work with a lot of the show skiing wakeboarders and barefooters. So it's been great, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people that I maybe wouldn't have met just through skiing. It's a limited time to speak here tonight, so it'd be tough to thank all the people that have really touched me and made a difference in my life and my skiing life here. There's a lot of people here. I ran into Jim Grew. He was the first guy here that rushed me in to get ready. And for example, just Jim, the first guy I run into, that was a guy that in 1977, 78, we came to Florida. My family came down. We bought a Nautique. We went out to Winter Haven to ski. Went to Lake Roy and spent a week skiing there. We didn't know a whole lot. I mean, my dad was a great skier, but we didn't know a whole lot. And there's this guy tricking. He was amazing. We were really in awe of watching him. And finally, he came over and politely gave us some lessons on how to drive the boat and not make so many waves. And it was Jim Grew, and he showed us how to wrap for a tow and gave us a lot of pointers that really helped us. And that was back in 1977, and here it's 2023, and he's the first guy we run into walking in tonight. My kids have won the Jim Grew scholarship a few times, and he's been a big supporter of our family. Same with Hank. I met him in the DuQuoin Nationals probably a long time ago, and he's announced at a ton of events through my skiing career. So the sport, there's a lot of people here that have been involved and really touched me in a lot of ways, and he's a big supporter and always is sending congratulation notes as well as Jim Grew to our family. And there's just Stan and Donna I ran into right at the entrance as well, and Ruth, and their tournaments have meant a lot to me over the years. And one of the great things about about water skiing and the sport of it is it's more of it's been a lifetime sport, a generational sport for our family and a way of life. I competed in my first Moomba Masters way back in 1987, and I was even on the podium just a few years ago, and I skied the Masters at 50 years old. So I've had a long career, and I got started pretty late. I actually started skiing early, but I really didn't get into it too much until much later. I've been able to do it with my kids, my wife, and I've been able to compete at the highest level with my kids. So competing at the Masters with Anna, Ryan, and myself just a few years ago is one of the most treasured memories I have in this sport. So yeah, that's one of the things I've been most proud about is my wife and I have been able to pass down the enjoyment of the sport of water skiing to our kids. They all have taken to it, enjoyed it. they like to ski. They like other things as well, and we participate in a lot of other things, but they do like to ski, and it's been a great time together. I got into the sport because of my dad, and he was an extremely accomplished athlete and played many sports, but was hooked on skiing. So he and my mom skied, and I got into skiing, and we traveled all over together. We even got to compete in the senior worlds together. So that's a long time of being able to ski together. As a kid, he took me all over. My mom was smart enough to stay behind, except for the good tournaments. We did a lot of, I remember camping in Erie, Pennsylvania in 30 degrees and raining, tying up to a jump at night for Fritz Hassler's tournament, were just a few of the memories we made traveling around skiing together. I finally caught on that when my mom was going, it's going to be a much nicer accommodations, not just camping in the rain. And so, like as Hank mentioned, my pursuit when I was younger, I would ski a couple months a year. I would go to Bill Peterson's. We found out about him in 1979 at the Nationals, and my dad sent me down in '79 to ski with Bill Peterson. And he made a big impact on my skiing, to see him ski, and he had a great family-oriented ski school there, and gave me a great foundation. At the same time, Randy Schoner was there, and I met him, and his skiing was incredible, and got me interested in skiing. Randy, as you know, most of you know, he works for me at Masterline, and has been with me for a long time, and has been one of the most loyal, dedicated friends. I don't know why that's so hard, but probably haven't thanked him enough over the years, and he's done an amazing job for me. Also, we picked up Bob along the way. We finally let him work with us. He was always hanging around, but he's been an amazing supporter and mentor to me. But as I got my attention was mostly into triathlon. I was able to go along and win a national championship in Kauai in triathlon in high school, but my passion really turned to skiing at Rollins. Warren Witherall was one of the guys that recruited me, and he grew up skiing in the East. We had an amazing ski team, probably one of the greatest of all time. We had many Hall of Famers. We had Kim Laskoff, Tana Britt Larson, Helena Shanlander, Brendan Nichols. Drew Ross was my roommate. A couple years later, my wife Jane came to Rollins and joined the team. And that's where I really developed a love for skiing, and my attention turned to it. Drew came to school very excited to improve his skiing, so we tried to outdo each other every day, seeing who could ski the most. With the triathlon training, I really helped. I could ski. Sometimes we'd ski up to 8 times a day. Sometimes my arms hurt so bad I couldn't even straighten them out. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't ski as much as Lucky or Patrice did in their crazy training regimens, but it was a lot of skiing. I made a lot of improvement. After college, I went to Ferraro's, and I'd ski down there sometimes. And there was a guy, Darren Shapiro, who was a pretty good tricker, but and he was making progress. But he got into wakeboarding. And one time I came back down, and it just shocked me. I had seen exhibitions of wakeboarding, and wasn't that interesting. Seemed like it was going anywhere. The boards were terrible. And I showed up, and Darren, I rode in the boat. Mike's like, you got to see this. And so I rode in the boat, and man, it just was mind-numbing. The railies, the stuff he was doing that was just so new and so hadn't been seen. And this is before YouTube or anything, where you don't get to see it. You might go to the National, see Sammy or Ricky do a flip, and then you got to wait a year to see it again. So it was amazing. You go back and you think, gosh, what was he doing? Trying to figure it out and work it out in your mind. Next thing I knew, Denny Kidder was looking for somebody to ride a ski board and promote it on the tour, so I got involved in that, and we developed a honeycomb board. We put bindings on it. I was almost DQ'd from the first tournament with the bindings because a lot of the riders didn't want me wearing bindings. Jimmy Redmond stepped in and said it was okay, and Jimmy Redmond's a legend in the sport. he was a big mentor to me in the wakeboarding side, gave me a lot of good pointers. Very great, down-to-earth guy. But he saw the future, and it wasn't too long after that. Foot straps were gone, and everybody was on a wakeboard on bindings. But when I was down there with Mike, you know, Mike said, "Hey, Darren's years ahead of everybody," and I believed him. It was just incredible what he was doing. But I went home and worked hard at it, and came back. I won the '93 Worlds. Then I won several tour stops, and so that was fun to be able to catch up to what Darren was doing. But Darren revolutionized the sport and thrust it into a relevant era. And now there's a time later on, I continued wakeboarding. I think, I don't know, maybe up to '97 or so. I showed up at Cranes Ruth Park. I mean, we all went out there, and this little kid comes out, and just, again, it was another mind-blowing deal. You know, you saw a lot of people, and it was Parks. And Parks just, you know, laid it down, and everybody realized, man, the writing's on the wall, the new generation's coming, and I went back to tricking. So it was, but along the way, I innovated a lot of tricks in wakeboarding. I was the first person taking a lot of the tricks out into the flats. I did a lot of the first mobs on a wakeboard, which helps when I came back to and focused my attention on tricking. I was innovating and putting all that stuff into tricks. So I was going back and doing a lot of the first person to do 6 flips at the Canadian Masters, and introduced some of the mobs, the Mob 5 front, and those tricks into trick skiing. But some of my best memories in the sport have come from, you know, not the wins or not the other events. It's from the people, and it's the battles you've had with the skiers. And some of the best tournaments were record tournaments that you just would show up, and Tori would be there, you know, all ready to go, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a battle. And it's only a record tournament, but he was always ready to go. And Corey and Tori, they were really intense, and we had some battles in the team trials. And team trials really didn't mean much, but so a lot of times it was harder to win. You had to win that to get to the next tournament, whatever it was. And the ones that were most meaningful for me were the Pan Am Games, and I won 3 team trials and made 3 Pan Am Games for that. That was an amazing experience. Got to go to Winnipeg, which was closest to the Olympics. That particular event was the closest to being in any kind of Olympic-style event. I was on the team with, you know, Freddie and Wade were roommates, so those times, being able to spend times with these amazing skiers were such special memories, you know. And Wade's a Hall of Famer. Freddie is the best jumper of all time and will be a Hall of Famer. And so, you know, you get to spend a week rooming together, skiing together. The next one I went to was the Dominican Republic. Freddie was, again, on the team with me. Wade was replaced by Chris Parrish. And that was some fun times. They had, I remember one night we went to a fancy cocktail thing, and Chris was enjoying the non-alcoholic fruity drinks a little bit too much. And Regina and I noticed, and we thought, hey, you know, Chris, you got to lay off the ice. The ice is what's going to get you. The next day, Freddie and I were waiting to head for the tournament. We had to call the doctor, and Chris slept on the cot because he was the youngest and first time at Pan Am's, and we had been there before. And I remember him mumbling as we left for the lake that good times, and what's a suppository? The third Pan Am Games was even more enjoyable. Sorry, one sec. Sorry, last one. Sorry. Last one was new crew. We ended up with Freddie again, but we also had wakeboarding had been introduced, and we had Andrew Atkinson and Dave Briscoe. So that was some fun times, and that tournament will definitely be remembered for the laughs. But in the end, it was the time we spent with the athletes, and I want to just thank my my wife, that none of this would have been possible without her. She's been an amazing person, amazing skier, has had a lot of impact and sacrificed her ambitions for me and the kids, and definitely took a step back for them. And it's just been an amazing trip, and we appreciate everybody's support for me and our family and Masterline, and thank you.
Let's give it up one more time, Russell Gay. You know, the fun thing for me being an announcer and a skier, but announcing and getting to watch all the skiers, and I've watched Russell for 20 more years or 30 years or whatever. He's skiing as good now as he ever has, so he amazes me. It's just unbelievable how talented he is, and just always a treat to watch, and the whole family is wonderful. And just another example, tonight has been one example after another of what a great family sport water skiing is, and we're going to continue to hear more stories that exemplify that, and that's why it's just so wonderful to be with all you folks and share these stories. Well, our next Hall of Fame awarded distinction inductee is Matt May. Have we got some Matt May and Orange supporters in the house tonight? This is another great family story. Matt May was born into a water skiing family, a true ski baby, and all-around water sports athlete. His mother, Jude Gilkerson, and his uncle, Hall of Famer Skip Gilkerson, were seasoned show skiers at Cypress Gardens and the Tommy Bartlett Show in the Wisconsin Dells. Before the age of 2, Matt was skiing professionally at the Tommy Bartlett Show under the tutelage of his uncle Skip. Matt progressed quickly in his skiing skills. He was slalom skiing by age 4, as well as barefooting and ski jumping by the age of 5. Although adept in competitive skiing, Matt's bread and butter was the show skiing stage. From 1986 to 1989, Matt was a featured skier at all the pro tournaments, performing for thousands of people barefooting and freestyle jumping each weekend. In 1992, at the age of 16, Matt completed one of the most unique placements in the history of water skiing. He stood on the national podium for freestyle jumping, traditional jumping, and barefoot jumping. Matt has water skied for shows around the world, from the U.S. to Japan, Singapore, Germany, France, Russia, Monaco, and Australia, in a career spanning 4 decades. Many great water skiers have come before Matt, but none have exceeded his diverse resume. We are proud to honor this amazing showman and athlete with our award of distinction. Please watch the video.
There's a lot of kids that are just as gifted as far as
Wow. I'm extremely honored and grateful to be here tonight for this honor. It was a long journey for me to get here from Australia, but it gave me a little bit more time to reflect on my career. Thank you to Betsy, Jeff Clark, the committee, and the fellow inductees. It's an honor to be in this room tonight with water skiing royalty. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and recognize those who have had the greatest influence on my water ski life and beyond. Firstly, Tommy Bartlett. The Bartlett Show brought my mom and Uncle Skip from Monticello, Indiana to Lake Delton, Wisconsin in the early 1960s and created an amazing place for me to grow up, learning to ski and creating a pathway to traveling the country and eventually around the world. Thank you to Tom and Margaret Deal for helping me achieve this award tonight. I'm thankful for all the skiers I worked with over my 20 summers skiing at the Tommy Bartlett Show. I have so many awesome friends that I'm still very close to today. In 1993, my water ski journey took me to Winter Park, Florida, where I was fortunate enough to be part of the Rollins College water ski team. Perhaps the greatest enjoyment I had in water skiing was my time at Rollins. Thank you to Coach Bedsole for the great times, the great teammates, and a few top 3 finishes at Nationals. My greatest memory at Rollins wasn't a particular jump or even a competition. But one day at practice, Mark got really upset at the entire jump team because they were balking too many times and not hitting the ramp. Coach told the other guys he'd never once seen me balk a jump. Well, Mark, for the next 2 years, there were a few occasions I had to let my arms out just to get on and one out the front in practice just because I didn't want to let you down. Thank you to my Rollins family and teammates for being here tonight. I was blessed to be coached by and compete against the best in the business. Thank you to Lucky Lowe, who pushed me hard to understand all the fundamentals. Lucky taught me the difference of being a good show skier and being a good 3-event skier. Thank you to Peter Fleck for all your support and coaching from a young age. I was lucky enough to compete against my mentor at the X Games, but my fondest memory of Peter was my first tournament when at midnight his car battery died and Peter had a great idea. So Peter pushed the car. I couldn't see over the windscreen. We popped the clutch and off we went. Safety was never one of Peter's strong points. Thank you to Dave Reinhardt. Dave helped me the most by his actions and his never say die attitude. Dave gave me a lot of confidence on the water and skiing on the pro tour. But my best memories of hanging out with Dave was him teaching me how to take a rental car through its paces. I was a little concerned when we were doing 70 miles an hour down I-4 and he threw it into park just to entertain himself. But on the pro tour, every weekend, a new car and a new adventure. I've had a blast traveling the world doing shows with World Entertainment, Tony Klarich, Action Horizons, all throughout Moscow, Nice, Singapore, Japan, Germany, Australia, and Monaco, where I was detained by police for hang gliding over the Prince's Castle. Thank you, Tony Klarich, for bailing me out on that one. Through the years, water skiing has opened many doors for me, but the most important door that it ever opened was to a beautiful young Australian girl that eventually became my wife. Thank you to my amazing wife, Sam, for all your love and support. You were the one always pushing me to be a better person, and I love doing life with you. Thank you. To my kids, Cooper and Mackenzie, they're watching the web stream live back in Australia. Yeah. I hope you both know that there's no award that can come close to bringing me the love and enjoyment that I feel from being your dad. I look forward to many more water skiing adventures with you. Now, I don't have time to recognize all my mates from down under, but to my crew in Australia, from SeaWorld to Moala to Team Australia, and all the party people, thank you for all the great times on and off the water. For as much fun as I was able to have skiing on the water, it's always been my greatest pleasure giving back to the sport. Teaching up-and-coming skiers new tricks and helping them succeed is what I'm most proud of. Who doesn't love teaching gainers and watching your best friends go tips in? Right, Fred? Water skiing has done more for me than I could ever repay, but I hope I have passed the handle to many skiers along the way. Now, there are 2 very special people that couldn't be here tonight, but I trust they're watching down from the heavens. To my mom, she grew up with a passion for water skiing and show skiing. But my greatest moment with her was when she watched her 4-year-old granddaughter perform at the Tommy Bartlett Show some 35 years after she saw me doing the same thing. I love you, Mom. To my Uncle Skip, the self-proclaimed most interesting person he ever met. Skip not only taught me the flair for show skiing, but most importantly, he taught me about the passion for life. He lived each day with enthusiasm. He gave his time to anyone and everyone. He was selfless, and he was my greatest mentor. Thank you to all my lifelong friends who have traveled here tonight to support me. Boys, I love the suits. They're awesome. Thank you. I'm extremely humbled by your presence and grateful for the friendships that we have shared. Lastly, I'd like to thank the one person that may not have taught me much about water skiing at all, but taught me the most valuable lessons in life. Thank you to my dad, who taught me about humility, respect for others, and working hard to achieve my goals. There were many times my dad had to chew my butt for not following the rules, but he always supported me with his presence and encouragement. It wasn't until I had kids of my own that I realized the depth of love that a parent has for their children. I love you, Dad, and thank you. My water ski life has really been a fairy tale. 45 years after learning to ski, my journey has brought me back here tonight. Thank you to all those who've helped me throughout my career, and I hope I've had the same impact on the next generations. Thank you, good night, and God bless.
Let's do it one more time for Matt May. Come on, everybody. I told you these are just great family stories. And the fun thing for me is when I get to do the interviews with them for our Hall of Fame library, to get to sit down and listen to these stories. It's one heartfelt story after another. And the big question is where did this all start? And every story starts with the family. And it just shows what an incredible sport we belong to. Well, are you ready for our Hall of Fame inductees, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, let's make some noise. Let's go here. Come on. Our first Hall of Fame inductee, Jimmy Seamers. According to the foundation bylaws, the purpose of the Water Ski and Wake Sports Hall of Fame shall be to honor and perpetuate the names and accomplishments of skiers, pioneers, and officials whose dedication and competitive achievements at national and international levels have brought lasting fame to the sport of water skiing. And our Hall of Fame inductees tonight live up to more than that, and Jimmy Seamers is going to be our first inductee. A 3-time world record holder and 3-time world champion, he set 2 world records in the jumping event with 233 feet and 236 feet, and the world overall record, and I'm delighted to say I got to see it and witness it. It was amazing. Jimmy is a 4-time U.S. Masters trick champion, 2-time Moomba Masters trick champion, and a 2-time U.S. Open overall champion. In 2003, he was named the IWWF's Male Water Ski Athlete of the Year after an incredible run of accomplishments. He won gold medals in tricks, jumping, and overall at the Under-21 World Water Ski Championships, gold medals in tricks and overall, and the silver medal in jumping at the Elite Water Ski World Championships, gold medals in open men tricks, jumping, and overall at the Good Water Ski National Championships, pro jump titles at the Malibu Open and Mastercraft Pro, gold medals in tricks, jumping, and overall at the Collegiate All-Stars, and the gold medal in tricks at the Collegiate Nationals. He is a former member of the Arizona State Water Ski Team, for which he won the trick event at the Collegiate Nationals 4 times. In addition to his 4 trick wins, he was an All-American in tricks, jumping, and overall throughout his college career. He also set a collegiate trick record in his last tournament as a college student. We are so happy Jimmy Seamers is being inducted into the USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Hall of Fame. And after this video, Jimmy will be welcomed to the stage by a very special guest. So let's watch the video.
What do we got going on here today, guys?
We're making a trick. Skis.
Can you show it to me? What's the front look like?
Red.
This is his best pass, his handheld pass. That is a 540-degree trick over the line. Now he goes into the flip series. Look how quickly he'll move from one flip to the other. It's just land and cut right back. There's another one.
To go, and a newcomer here on the Pro Tour. As you see, Freddie Krueger leads, Shears in second, but the young man who could eclipse the field, 18-year-old Jimmy Seamers, who Dave, you talked about earlier.
Yeah, but what's he thinking now after watching Freddie go on his face? That doesn't exactly inspire you when you leave the dock. Watch that happen. So we'll see what he's made of right here. Boy, he's putting on the brakes. He overshot his mark. What a late cut. He hangs onto it. I can't believe he took this jump.
Oh my, and with one jump, Jimmy Seamers, 197 feet, wins.
Next on the dock, very, very popular guy from Round Rock in Texas. It is, of course, Mr. Jimmy Seamers. Here he goes, Jimmy Seamers. Let's give him a good send-off as he prepares to defend his Masters Tricks title. Where's the man? Goes up fly high. Down Arizona. Able to get some management. Watch out for him. Let's get things done. Out of here, he qualified on it. Let's talk about small and whistling.
As the men's jump finals gets rolling, Jimmy Seamers steps in.
You're either going to see me in the hospital or I'm going to be on cloud 9.
Seamers unloads a 219-footer and feels he could have and should have capitalized.
Texas. With a perfect approach and liftoff, he caught the ride of his life, sailing 225 feet.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I haven't jumped that far since I set the world record 2.5 years ago.
30 points behind Jarrett coming into the tricks here for the overall competition, and I really needed that to make up a little points for the overall race.
Can I win every tournament in a season and, try to, I guess, just start domination?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the Seamers family. So I'm up here to introduce a man who put me on the water ski map before he was 18. He broke world records before he was 21 and brought out the best in me day after day. I would wake up and I knew he wanted to crush it, so I had to crush it. I'm honored and grateful to the Seamers family for a lifetime of wonderful memories, memories that will forever bring joy to me and all those who listen to me share the stories. So once again, Jimbo, you're up. Come on up here, Jimmy Seamers. And now that he's old enough, we can actually celebrate. Can we open it, or, I mean? You can do whatever you want. We won't open it right now. It's your dance.
Probably get in trouble. So that's Camilo. That's my, I call him my second dad. Do you know I call you my second dad? Yeah, I okay. Yeah, I have my biological father who, I don't even know how he financially afforded to do what we did, but he always made sure that he made it happen for me. And Camilo, you've impacted so many people's lives. It's, I mean, you know you did. It's ridiculous. Yeah, well, we'll get to that a little bit later. I'm going to try to keep this short. Lori Powell, wherever you are, our speeches were similar, so if you want to just come up and we'll switch. Matt May, dude, you're hilarious. There you are. You know, the tips down comment. Yeah, buddy. I got my buddy Richard Abelson who loves to see me do that shit. Pardon my language, but I'm probably going to do that. Let me put the champagne down. So my speech is going to be a little bit different because we had a vision. We had this thing that I now see that I didn't know about growing up, but my parents did, my Camilo did. They created a blueprint, and I don't know if they know that. Did you guys know you had a blueprint for this thing? Okay, here's the blueprint. This is how you succeed in this. This is how you succeed in sports and many things in life. It starts with an inspiration. It starts with an idea. For me, it was the Water Skier, Water Ski Magazine, Hot Summer Nights. You know, I knew that came on at 8 o'clock on Thursday, and I watched it, and I watched my hero, Sammy Duvall. And, you know, I got to actually jump with the guy once. He was, I think I was at a junior camp at Jack Travers. I know I was at Jack Travers. And I broke, some of you barefooters may not understand this, but I broke 3 fins in 4 jumps. Yeah, right. Like I was thanks, Zach. I was as late as I could be, and I also broke the junior world record every single jump that set. Yeah, they were measuring it. So for me, that was a phenomenal set. I got to, you know, I got to kind of show off and give it what I had, which I love doing. So, you know, I had inspiration, I had a vision, and it took my dad to sit down and say, hey, we need a plan. You know, we need to figure out how we're going to do this. And I think he figured it out. I kind of just went along for the ride. But we sat down, we had yearly goals. You know, I created goals in my head. We created goals on paper. You know, and to make those goals happen, there was a whole succession of things that needed to happen. I had a crazy amount of drive, obsession, grind. I had grit, and I cared. I gave it. I really, really cared. I am very stubborn. I won't fail. Mom, is that your cell phone? No, I'm just kidding. You know, for me, grit and grind kind of come together. You saw Camilo. I was his guinea pig because he wasn't that good at skiing and he didn't exactly know what he was talking about. And I was kind of one of his first students, and so I got to take the crashes, and that's okay, because I'm good at it. I know how to fall, like tips down, bud, right, Matt? You know, I'm stubborn, and it's okay. I'm going to keep going. No matter what happens, I'll keep going, and I'm going to go hard. I see you laughing at me, Parks. I know you know how to crash too, bud. I was obsessed with this sport. I really was. I skied on the water, and I skied off the water way more than I ever skied on the water. I remember growing up, we had a 2-story house, and so the banister was my turn, and I would run to the top of the stairs as fast as I could, and I would kick, you know, the 3rd from the last step. As I got stronger, it'd be 4th from the last step. And the stronger I got, the further I would just continue to go in the water as well. I just never stopped thinking about it.
I would fall asleep thinking about it. In high school, it was, the obsession was just ridiculous. You know, I don't know if it was like the street lamp that kept me up at night or that idea that I had to win, but I did have a goal, and I did want to be world champion. And you know, I go to sleep at night, or I wouldn't go to sleep at night. I would stay awake, and it was hard. It was really hard. And you know, I go to tournaments, and my dad would he has a snoring issue, I guess some would say. Sorry, Dad. I would sleep in the bathtub, and I would blame it on him. But at the same time, man, it was half me too, because I was so concerned and I cared so much about the outcome the next day. I guess my next point is support. I mean, I've talked about these two, and I can't even get into support. Like, I'll be up here for an hour. I have so many people in this room. Like, I was shocked to see Aaron Klaus show up from Mastercraft. You know, my sponsors. The Dunkelbergers, I see you. From Iowa. The Wilsons came in from Louisiana. I mean, and I'm going to miss people, you know. I am going to miss people that I should say thank you to. And my plan really is to do a social media post later. And seriously, it is. I know it's maybe not the best way to go about it, but I really think it would be heartfelt and warming for me to be able to go back and read comments that people say about me, share a story. You know, like, I'll write a post, you comment, we'll share a story. And you know, the internet's forever. But the thank yous just go on and on. I can't even begin. The selection committee, USA Water Ski, IWWF, obviously my parents. You know, my brother was a huge part of this. We played, dude, do you remember we used to play like tennis, basketball? I mean, cross training was just immense. I played on 2 soccer teams at the same time while taking 5 sets a day, while running 10 miles before or after school and 5 miles before school. So I mean, we share similar stuff. Like, Russell, you did triathlon. I did Ironman. I mean, every day was an Ironman for me. You know, I worked my butt off, and you did too. And everyone else, you know, that's up here tonight, they worked very hard, and they had a support crew that was just unbelievable. And I can't even begin to say thank you to everyone. And I'll do it later. You know, this is something I can't even begin to do now. I mean, let's go on to the next thing, which is nice, because my next point is amnesia. And I'm not talking about, you know, being concussed or taking naps face down the lake because I ate it a little too hard. Amnesia is, you know, when you fail, you have to forget that it happened. I go home, I would do whatever I messed up, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60 times, whatever it took to where that was out of my head, and then forget about it. Forget that tournament happened. And likewise, when you succeed, you have to do the same thing. When you win, you have to forget that you won. Because somebody failed, and somebody's out there saying, I failed, and I need to go home and I need to work this hard. So when I won, I forgot I won. I forgot complete tournaments I forgot. Because in my mind, if I need to be insufficient to succeed the next time, to work harder than what I used to. And for me, it comes back to grind, hard work, dedication. These are things my dad taught me. Like, Dad, what was your car? What was the green machine? That thing freaking woke the whole neighborhood up. And it was like way too early because you went to work way too early. What was it? A Grand Prix. Holy hell, that was loud. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Lastly, I think, you know, you've heard it tonight. You need to have fun. You know, there's a lot of stories that we all share. You know, I mean, it's incredible. Like Dave Phillips, he flew in from Phoenix in college. I got to have a blast. You know, Pat O'Brien, you're in the room. He was my roommate. You know, I guess back when I used to get bored at ski lakes, I would either fish or I would take branches and hit rocks in the lake. And now it's a little more organized and they call it golf. So Pat and I used to golf together. And I still do. And, you know, I enjoy that sport immensely. And, you know, there's just a lot of cross-training that goes into this whole thing. Camilo, you and your crew, our crew, the Wilson family, you know, Tara Benzel. Hey? Friday Fun Day. I mean, we played Pig, if you know what Pig is. You know, it's kind of like the basketball in Pig. And, you know, we parlayed that into some of the stuff you see today, like the Joel Pollins of the world. Jake Abelson is phenomenal on a trick ski. You know, his dad and I went to college together. We grew up, and now I get to coach the kid with Camilo, and I mean, that kid will whoop my butt in Pig. I mean, it's just, the kids are getting out of control these days of how good they are. But, you know, there's too many shared experiences, too many shared stories, and, you know, the whole point of this is to have fun. It doesn't sound like I had fun. It really doesn't. But now I get to have fun coaching because the pressure's off, and I get to try to put this on the next generation. And maybe, you know, it's in a different manner. I don't tell them about this. I don't speak to people. You guys, like, I mean, did you guys know I did this shit? Like, not sleep and, you know, I mean, like, crazy. But, you know, now I get to coach, and it is fun. I enjoy it. Lori, I think you said the same thing. So anyways, I know that when you're up here, cheers. Off the cuff, baby.
Come on, keep giving it up for Jimmy Seamers. I have been announcing and following Jimmy's career since he was in the boys division, and it's been a treat to get to watch how it's developed over the years. But Jimmy, I never knew all that. Thank you. That was interesting. Amazing story. What comes out when you're finally here telling it all? And that's what makes it so amazing. Well, our next Hall of Fame inductee, Keith St. Ange. Can we make a little noise for Keith St. Ange? Give it up, give it up. When you think of barefoot water skiing, you think of Keith St. Ange. A dominant force in the sport for decades, KSO set the bar high for the next generation. As a young man, he shared the dock with legends Ron Scarpa and Mike Seipel, and soon surpassed those pioneers of the sport, bringing barefoot into the new millennium. KSO was the first barefooter to score more than 10,000 points in tricks and has set world records in all three events. He currently holds the men's slalom world record of 20.6 points. He's won 14 world championship gold medals and is a two-time overall world champion. KSO has also won the U.S. national overall title an unprecedented 19 times. Outside traditional three-event barefooting, KSO has won the Footstock Figure 8 National Championship 3 times. KSO is a 2-time IWWF Athlete of the Year, has won the USA Water Ski Athlete of the Year multiple times, is a Banana George Blairfooter of the Year, competed in the ESPN X Games, and served as an American Barefoot Club tournament driver and judge. He also was an integral member of the 2022 USA Water Ski Show team, which won the World Championships in October. So let's give it up for our World Show Ski team. And I just have to make a quick little interjection here. I don't know how many of you were able to go to the World Championships on Lake Silver in Winter Haven, but it was unbelievable. Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing in the city of Winter Haven knocked it out of the park. And my buddy over here, Dave Dersheimer, he did an amazing job. And Mark, my Hall of Fame buddy, help me out there. Mark Voisard. See, one of my dear friends, the gray hair gets to you. I can't even remember her name. Did a marvelous job. We got to give them a round of applause. The World Championships was great. Sorry about that, Mark. I guess I owe you breakfast. KSO may have stopped barefooting competitively, but he still spends nearly every day on the lake with his family, passing on his unwavering love of all types of water sports. After this video, Keith will be welcomed to the podium by a very special guest. So let's watch the video.
And on a lighter note, barefoot water skiing is part of a new group of extreme sports which are growing immensely in popularity. Tonight, News 12's Joe Chiazzi profiles one amazing world-class skier who's spending the summer right here in Helena.
Keith Claude St. Onge is not your normal 19-year-old.
St. Onge, this is his second round jump. He's looking good here. He needs to go into the mid-6,000s to give Scarpa a run for his money.
Keith St. Onge wins the tricks, his second gold medal.
Ending world record beforehand, so just about everything combined nicely for the youngster. He's having a great day so far. Sits down on the toe back in front, but he's tricking feverishly, going for huge bonus points here. Waiting to vote speed up. I want to go faster. He's going for a big one here, folks. Oh, and have a look at that. That is a massive jump. St. Onge throws a flip as he goes for the 360. And what an unbelievable performance. Fantastic jump, fantastic finish by Keith St. Onge.
Let's go! Spent all of my life breaking all the rules, stepping out of line, the streets of my school. Can't get enough of a good time. Gonna live it up while still alive.
Nice job. That's a nice job. It's going to be interesting. 24.5 meters.
Live wire, wildfire. I'd rather burn up in flames than fade away. You gotta live it up. You gotta live it
Keith, that was a cool-ass video, and I'm in the business, so I love that. It's an honor to be here tonight to look out across all of these amazing elite-level skiers and to be a part of this tonight. And yes, that includes all of you who put skis on their feet too. So, yeah, Hank, thank you for reading off all of those award things that Keith got, because I brought this up here because I was going to have to read that. There was so much here. There's no way I was going to memorize it, so now I can just tell stories, Keith, because, you know, there's a fine line between an introduction and a roast. Oh, back in the day, Swampy called me up, said we got to teach this kid his surface turns. And so I had the privilege of flying to a beautiful but cold lake on Bagog in New Hampshire, and where I wore a dry suit the entire time until I lost a bet and had to do it back deep in my underwear. But anyway, we chased loons around the lake and freaked Swampy out a little bit. Had a good time up there, right? Keith was one of those students who was just an easy gig, because the guy was super talented, he was super tough, he was super smart, and he listened so well. He was so good that he learned his reverse front to back on his very first attempt. Remember that, Keith? Yes, you did. And I knew right then and there I was in trouble. And he's one of the, it's a love-hate relationship. He's one of the reasons I quit barefoot skiing. No. I looked down at those size. He was about 12, 13 years old, and I looked down at those size 12, 13 feet, and I thought, this is not fair. He gets to compete on shoe skis. Keith went on to do some amazing thing that Hank read off, just this amazing resume of unbelievable accomplishments. But Keith, the biggest accomplishment in my mind is your character of excellence. That's what I'm most proud of, to see you today with your family, your beautiful family, and your character of excellence that's just been with you through this whole thing. And I appreciate the opportunity to stand up here for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith St. Onge.
Thank you. Hey. I love you guys. I love you. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Well, gentlemen, the mayor from Lake City doing his speech on his iPhone. I got paper. Only 10 minutes, though. Promise. Maybe I shouldn't promise, but. Of course, I'm honored to be standing here tonight. Congratulations to Jimmy and all the other honorees. And thank you for Scott for the introduction. You know, if it wasn't for Scott, my barefooting definitely could have gone a different direction, and not for the better. And if it wasn't for Joe Malenfant, we would have never met Scott Gray. And if it wasn't going to barefoot water ski, yep. And if it wasn't for going to barefoot water ski tournaments, we would have never met Joe. We would have never met Scott, and we would have never met all these amazing people one after another. The water sports is just an awesome community where you can just be around so many great people. I'd like to take a moment now and just give thanks to God for all my blessings and for all of our blessings. Thank you for all the men and women who serve our country and keep us safe. Thank you for our freedom in this country that gives us the opportunities to do what we're passionate about. Thank you for my career, the experiences, traveling this gorgeous world, and meeting so many amazing people. Thank you for the joys we get to experience on the water, and let us not take it for granted, but show gratitude for all the amazing times and moments we have. I'm going to go back to my roots and explain where I'm from and give credit to my family, because without them, I probably would never got involved in the water sports and found my passion in barefoot water skiing. You may know me as a St. Onge, but my grandfather on my mother's side is a Bouchard. He and his two brothers, Kai and Gus, built a small cabin on Lake Mbagog, 45 minutes north of where we lived. They stacked the camp with bunk beds. They could sleep 21 people in there comfortably. This place was known as the Bouchard Hotel. So thank you, grandfather, Pepera I call him, and my great uncles. Where is this located, you may be wondering? Scott kind of said it. He visited us up in New Hampshire. But it's 32 miles from the Canadian border. northern New Hampshire, 2 hours north of Mount Washington, the tallest peak in New England, and it held the world's fastest wind recorded speed for at 231 miles an hour. They held that record for 62 years. This is hockey country. This is snowmobile country. There was a huge paper mill that sat in the middle of the woods right there where you can see logging trucks on a daily basis. And that's where I'm from. Proud of it. Doesn't sound like an area where a professional barefoot water ski would come from, but, well, we didn't know any better, and we just had to deal with what we had. But passion can do amazing things to someone. So where did that passion start? My cousin, Gary Bouchard, a.k.a. Swampy. He started a show ski team and then hired current world champion Mike Seipel to come up and do a barefoot water ski clinic. Well, everybody was so tired at the end of the week that Mike asked, is there any young kids that want to try it? So myself, I was 9 years old, my two cousins went out there, and we stepped off the ski, and I was pretty much hooked right after that. Our winters were brutally long and cold, but a huge blessing, a blessing in disguise comes with that. When you can only ski 3 or 4 months out of the year, well, there's one thing you never get, and that's burnt out. I thought all winter about barefooting, so that was good. The other thing nice about living way up north and having a lake in the middle of the woods, you never have a lot of boat traffic. The other great thing about these long, cold winters, we had to raise money to pay for all of our boat fuel, the next summer. So what we did is we plowed a track down the middle of the lake on the ice. We went to the police station, we got a radar gun, and we sold tickets to snowmobilers. And they would zip down this track, and we'd give them their speed, their top speed. Obviously, there was no GPSs back then, and all the speedometers, they weren't accurate. So we gave them the top speed. My mom and my Aunt Estelle sold food in the back of a pickup truck, and that's how we raised money. Now, granted, back then, gas was less than $1 a gallon back then, but when you go 45 miles an hour and you're skiing several hours a day, you burn a lot of fuel. So we'll fast forward to 13 years old. I had a newspaper reporter ask me, where do you see yourself taking your barefoot water skiing in the future? It was a simple answer at the time at 13 years old. 13-year-olds, dream big, I guess. I said I want to move to Florida, open up a ski school, win a national and world title. Well, fast forward to 19 years old and a lot of skiing in between. That's when Scott Gray came into the picture and helped Swamp and I take my skiing to the next level. Well, at 19, I moved to Florida. I started a ski school and I won my first national title. One year later, I won my first gold at Worlds, and 7 years after that, I won my first overall title. But the reason I brought my past up is to let people know, and especially to let the younger generation know, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what roadblocks you may have. It doesn't matter if you can't ski year-round or might not have ideal conditions to ski on. It doesn't matter if funds and money may be short, you can raise money. But what does matter is the support team around you, like my family and Swampy and everybody else up there. What does matter is where your heart is. What does matter is positive attitude, perseverance. Are you passionate about what you're doing? Does that passion fuel you? And if it does, dreams and goals can be fulfilled. Remember, though, there are a lot more losses than wins in most things we do in life. Can you be a good sport and congratulate your competitors? Will you allow the losses to motivate you? Losses force you to learn things about yourself, some things you may not like. Losses bring out your true character. This is the beautiful thing about competition in life. It shapes you as a person. So back in the day when you made it on the podium at nationals, people would yell out, "Where are you from?" That's right. So I'd yell out, I'm from the East. Or if you're from the West, I'd yell out, "I'm from the West." Well, the next year, I flew from New Hampshire to Florida for the U.S. team trials, out west for the X Games, did one of my first clinics in Michigan, flew back for the Eastern Regionals, and went down to Houston, Texas for the Nationals. So then when I was back on the podium that year, I heard it again. Where are you from? And I wanted to say the East. I really wanted to say the East this time, but since I hit all the regions, made some great friends along the way, and I wanted to be politically correct, I just yelled out, "I'm from the United States." The reason I bring that story up is because what I remember most is the journey. What I remember most are all the friends that I made over the 35 years of traveling the United States and the world. The families and the people that took me into their home. The quality time I spent with people in the boat. The smiles I saw on people's faces when they learned something new. Traveling the world and having these experiences, it was the journey. It was the people. Those are my best memories. I'd like to thank, in closing, I'd like to thank Betsy Gilman for organizing this awesome ceremony. I'm going to go back. I actually missed a page here. I don't know how. I missed a page. It's an important one, too. All right, you'll hear it. Here we go. Here we are. All right, so people ask me what some of my best memories were in my career. Always a tough question, right? Where do you start? Well, being at that little camp with my sister, Kendra, and all of our friends and cousins up there, traveling to all the tournaments and training with my father, Swampy, and my old training partner, Spray Danny. And thanking my mom for allowing me to train and go to all these tournaments instead of going on summer family vacation. It's not that I didn't want to go on the summer family vacation, it's just we had a short season, we had to pack it all in. And my dad for letting me go up to the camp with Swampy. It was a 45-minute drive. We drove up 45 minutes, skied for an hour, drove 45 minutes back. We did that all the time. So I just want to say thanks to my mother and my father for sacrificing time with me to allow me to chase my dreams. This is the ultimate love a parent can give their child. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you. So I'd like to thank my sponsors and everyone who supported me throughout my career. Thank you to the judges at the tournament and the boat drivers and the officials, my training partners at the World Barefoot Center, coaches, Swampy, Scott, and people from the coach of the U.S. team. Thank you for all your time and your support. This sport has challenged me, taught me so much about myself. It has humbled me. It's given me confidence. It's allowed me to live out my dream. But the biggest blessing it's given me is meeting my beautiful wife, Lauren, and having our 3 amazing children. Kix, Zyla, and Mika, family, I love you. Thank you for your support. And thank you for keeping water skiing fun. Thank you all for your love and support. Good night.
All righty, thank you there, Betty. Hey, give it up one more time for Keith St. Ange. Thank you, Keith, and all of our inductees tonight. If you noticed in your program, SOAR Education, just real quick, teaches students to believe in themselves and to never quit believing in their dreams becoming a reality, because if you don't, one day they will. And tonight is a live reflection of that. You actually got to see dreams come true tonight with all our inductees. And for me, it's been a lifetime dream to be able to be your MC at the Hall of Fame and Wake Sports induction ceremonies. And I love to water ski, but what keeps me coming back year after year is my greater love for all of you, my water ski family. And can't thank you enough for being able to share this with you tonight. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of Polk County Sports Marketing, our sponsors, and the USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Foundation, I would like to thank all of you for joining us tonight. A big thank you to our sponsors. Couldn't do it without them. Betsy's done an amazing job with Jack putting this all together. It's been a monumental task, and as Ed had said, we're all volunteers at the foundation, and our E&F committee has done a phenomenal job on turning this ship around, and we are alive and well and continue to keep operating. And we want you to know that the foundation is open 24/7 for all of your donations. So thank you very much. Please consider being a member of our foundation and our scholarship program. Please keep that in mind. If you want to have a scholarship, we'd love to have you join us. And before we close this evening, one rule of housekeeping rule is no alcohol can leave the building or this room. So if you're going to stick around and have a toddy, you just got to keep it in the room here. But I think before we say goodnight, we need to stand up and give all these folks that made it possible tonight a big round of applause. All our inductees, Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, the Hall of Fame, and all of you for joining us tonight. Thank you so very much. And of course, TWC, our tournament broadcast company, for sharing this moment live in our country and around the world. So all you folks watching, thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Safe travels. And as Betty Boniface would say, ski ya later.